Once the storm passed, everybody was ready to get back to work. We worked the vessel, the Golden Ray.
We discharged 256 cars. We came in at 7 o'clock start, and we finished right before 12 o'clock.
Well, I received a phone call around 3 o'clock.
Okay, I'm going to bring it back up.
Roger. Breaking news.
Survivor are clear of the vessel.
Roger.
Hold position here if you can.
Hold position here. Roger.
Can we talk to the 45?
Right. Yeah, you can let them know, either on CTAP frequency or whatever's free.
And from the Survivor just outside the cabin door.
Roger that. And you can throw in an extra 200 pounds on the crew weight right now. I don't know how big a boy that guy is, but just a swag.
Bring your Survivor inside the cabin.
Roger. Should probably have our ASE for a bit left.
Easy forward.
Easy forward.
Okay, I'm going to bring it back up.
Roger. Did they put the Survivor on deck?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It looks like you gave me the up signal.
Okay.
I think it'll just be safer to get up and look inside the cabin.
That's fine. We'll plan for that. You want me to back off from here, or is this a good position?
You can back off if you need it, but we're in a good position.
Okay.
So it's up to you. But you're clear.
Meridian 13 started their turn.
I thought they were here. I don't.
Cause of the exact nature of why it happened is still under investigation, and the investigators are here in Brunswick commencing that investigation with the help of the vessel's master, first mate, and their engineer. The Coast Guard continues to work with our partners to form a unified command here composed of federal, state, as well as the responsible party. That would be Georgia Department of Natural Resources, the U.S. Coast Guard captain of the port here in Brunswick.
Salvage crews navigating dangerous conditions to find 3 men trapped below deck near these propellers. First making a 3-inch hole to let fresh air in, passing them food and water, eventually widening the hole. The Coast Guard reporting they heard tapping from inside the boat throughout the night Sunday, alerting them to where they should concentrate retrieval efforts. This morning, a heroic rescue caught on tape. This Coast Guard video capturing the moment the final crew member trapped inside the Golden Ray makes his way out of the overturned hull. Rescue workers applauding as he emerges. That man seen here joyously walking off the boat after spending nearly 36 hours trapped in the ship's control room alone, with no access to fresh water or food. Captain John Reed, the commander on the scene, thanking his team.
The best day of my career, because you guys did that.
All 4 crew members trapped inside the Golden Ray, safe after Lames. The 4 men surviving a battle of life and death.
Crew members were rescued about, I'd say, 2 hours ago or so, and this final 4th crew member was rescued at about 5:55 when Action News Jax first told you about it. Again, appearing to be in good spirits at this time, but we won't know for sure the extent of any injuries until he goes to the hospital and we get a report from the hospital.
A happy ending to a harrowing ordeal.
So, Konyang, like you said, the 4 remaining South Koreans who were trapped inside the capsized car vessel called Golden Ray have now all been rescued. There were 24 people on the cargo ship at the time of the incident, and among them were 6 South Koreans, 13 Filipinos, and 1 U.S. vessel pilot were rescued on Sunday local time. The U.S. Coast Guard announced they had extracted all 4 crew members on Monday afternoon.
Medical services, they were subject to some the condition is relatively good for having spent close to 34 or 35 hours in the conditions they are in.
Now finally on dry land, walking around.
The 9.3.
Some maritime experts are praising the decision to ground the Golden Ray where it currently sits in the St. Simons Sound. Now the sight of this thing still on its side continues to be a spectacle for tourists who come to the area.
That mist was water as crews sprayed down the Golden Ray. This picture taken from the underside of the 71,000-ton cargo ship. Unified Command has not yet confirmed the cause of the smoke. The Golden Ray remains in St. Simons Sound, where it will be disassembled, although no time frame has been set.
Mary, the Coast Guard says the Golden Ray is hard aground and is stable, and it's looking into placing additional moorings to secure the vessel ahead of the storm.
Yeah, just getting off the boat, we have some of these samples here. Looking at the grass, it's covered almost in like a tar-like substance. You can smell it as soon as you open up the bag. And my hands in these gloves covered with oil.
Riding along St. Simons Sound into some of the creeks, Altamaha Riverkeeper Executive Director Fletcher Sams pointing to the evidence of oil Visible miles away from the downed cargo ship, the Golden Ray, we cruised right along the marsh, looking at different covered grass, the striations showing where the tide has left something behind.
There's a rainbow sheen on top of the shore. We got some good soil samples, good grass samples, but that is the longest continuous line and the heaviest line that we've seen so far.
Sam's helping the University of Georgia scientists collect mud, water, and grass that'll be sent to a lab in Athens Thursday. Already the crew worked late into the night Tuesday using a blacklight to detect oil deposits on Jekyll Island. Concern growing for the animals in the water and those who still fish the area.
The bottom of the food chain, as well as the fish embryos for next year, whether or not they will be impacted.
The U.S. Coast Guard confirms that oil is leaking from the cargo ship that toppled in St. Simons Island Sound 2 weeks ago today. Those impacts have been seen in the water, marshes, and islands nearby. Coast Guard Command says it's looking closer to determine next steps. The Altamaha Riverkeeper says its office is working to run tests and monitor reports of impacts as far away as 10 miles.
Still, agencies working to clean up the contaminants using an absorbent spray and booms to trap what they can. Sam says until the results from the lab come back, it's unclear the long-term effects this could have on the area.
The folks here in Southeast Georgia hoping that they don't have to encounter this for much longer, but still a long road to clean up.
You can see crews with multiple companies at a staging area unloading what I'm told is absorbent foam.
Gave us a better idea of what happened to the more than 4,000 cars that are inside. Now, scans from the Unified Command produced these 3D images you're looking at. This picture shows the fourth deck. They're new cars with plastic still protecting the grille. Now, they look to be in relatively good shape. But this is a look of the ninth deck from the same stack of images. You can see these cars have significantly more damage, also more damage to the interior as well.
Covering Southeast Georgia, salvage crews have come up with an ingenious way to protect the environment from a unique problem that's caused by the overturned cargo ship in the St. Simons Sound.
So starting today, they're going to move thousands of rocks next to the hull of the Golden Ray before crews start actually taking the ship apart piece by piece. News4JAX reporter Ashley Harding is joining us now live near the Sidney Lanier Bridge in Brunswick this morning. Ashley, the goal here is really to slow down erosion.
disassembling the Golden Ray more than a month after overturning and the St. Simons Sound. Maritime experts say that the cargo ship is not possible to be safely righted. The Georgia Department of Natural Resources says refloating the vessel in fully intact condition will not happen. So far, more than 225,000 gallons of fuel have been removed, and Unified Command says that they're continuing to remove more.
Because the assessment has been made that the ship cannot be safely righted, Command says it's developing plans to remove all of the ship's hull, components, and its cargo by disassembling it right where it sits now. Hundreds of thousands of fuel from the forward tanks on the Golden Ray have been removed, and they still have the remaining fuel and lubricant tanks to go. It's a complicated and environmentally risky process, and Unified Command specialists are testing water at 22 sites under a long-term plan to keep the public safe. In the meantime, Georgia DNR continues to uphold its swimming and fishing advisory. I talked with News4JAX maritime expert Rod Sullivan over the phone. He says it's going to be an extremely long and labor-intensive process to cut up a ship that size into small enough pieces to remove. Sullivan says the maritime experts who made the call to disassemble the Golden Ray are some of the best in the world.